All right, think about this for a second. Every single day, millions upon millions of cells in your body are dividing. They're repairing injuries, replacing old tissue, and literally keeping you alive. But here's the big question. How do they do it so perfectly? Well, in this explainer, our goal is to uncover the exact step-by-step mechanisms of the cell cycle and mitosis.
So how does a cell copy its entire genetic blueprint with absolute perfection, without causing catastrophic mutations? This isn't just a fascinating biological puzzle. It's actually a massive, high-yield topic for your USMLE, NEET, and board exams. You absolutely need to know exactly how the cell manages this high-stakes manufacturing plant, and that's exactly what we're going to solve together right now. Here's our study roadmap. First up, the cell cycle overview. Second, interphase, the preparation phase. Third, quality control, cell checkpoints. And finally, mitosis, executing precise division.
Let's jump right into Part 1, the cell cycle overview.
The cell cycle is basically split into two distinct and honestly very unequal chapters. Imagine spending 90% of your life packing for a vacation and only 10% actually traveling. Well, that massive 90% chunk is interphase. A cell spends the vast majority of its life purely in preparation, just doing its normal metabolic duties. Only that tiny 10% slice is the M phase, which is where the physical splitting actually occurs.
Moving right along to Part 2, interphase, the preparation phase.
We can break interphase down chronologically into three subphases. First is G1, or gap 1, where the cell just focuses on growing larger and synthesizing all those necessary proteins. Next is the S phase, and folks, this is where the real magic happens. S stands for synthesis. This is the exact moment the cell replicates its DNA so that each future daughter cell is going to get an identical copy. Finally, we hit G2, or gap 2, where the cell makes its final preparations, builds microtubules for the spindle apparatus, and double checks for any DNA damage.
Now, listen up, because there is a really fascinating exception to this rule that you must lock into your memory for exam day. Sometimes, a cell will temporarily or even permanently exit the cell cycle altogether. It enters this resting state known as the G0 phase. And where do we commonly see this? In mature neurons and cardiac muscle cells. Basically, when they're done dividing, they park right here in G0. All right, Part 3, quality control, also known as cell checkpoints.
So the crucial takeaway here is that the cell cycle doesn't just run wild, it is heavily regulated by molecular stop signs, or checkpoints. Let's compare the two big ones in interphase. The G1 checkpoint acts like the first bouncer at a club. It checks, hey, is the cell big enough? Is the DNA completely undamaged? It has to be absolutely sure before the cell commits to the incredibly energy-costly S phase. Then, after the DNA is copied, we hit the G2 checkpoint. Its specific responsibility is ensuring that DNA replication in the S phase was 100% successful with absolutely zero errors.
But how does the cell actually know it's ready to move past these checkpoints? Well, it relies on a master control system powered by cyclins and cyclin-dependent kinases, or CDKs for short. You can think of these as the interlocking molecular gears that physically drive the cell cycle forward. When these bind together, the cell gets the green light to proceed.
But what if something goes wrong? If mutations are detected, proteins like p53 step in and halt the cycle. The p53 protein is essentially the ultimate biological emergency brake. If it finds damaged DNA, it triggers repair mechanisms or even apoptosis, which is programmed cell death. Because look, if you have mutations in your p53 gene and that emergency brake stops working, the cell divides uncontrollably. And that is a classic high-yield hallmark of cancer development.
Which brings us to Part 4, mitosis, executing precise division.
To truly master mitosis and see how this continuous execution builds, you just need to remember one classic mnemonic, PMAT. That's Prophase, Metaphase, Anaphase, and Telophase. Let's break down the mechanics of each and every step.
We kick things off with prophase. Picture the inside of the cell right now. The loose, fuzzy genetic material called chromatin starts condensing really tightly. It forms into distinct, visible, X-shaped sister chromatids. At the exact same time, the centrosomes start migrating toward opposite ends or poles of the cell, and they start shooting out these spindle fibers. Finally, the nuclear envelope begins to break down completely so those spindle fibers can eventually reach the newly formed chromosomes.
Next up is metaphase, which is all about alignment.
The nuclear membrane is entirely gone now. Those spindle fibers reach out and physically attach themselves to specific protein structures on the chromosomes called kinetochores. The fibers push and pull until, with absolute precision, every single chromosome is lined up in a neat single-file row straight down the equator of the cell. We call this equator the metaphase plate.
Actually, I'm going to pause the PMAT sequence right here for another huge exam tip. Right at metaphase, we hit the M checkpoint, which is also known as the spindle assembly checkpoint. The cell absolutely will not proceed until it guarantees that every single chromosome is perfectly attached to spindle fibers from both poles. Why? Because if they aren't perfectly attached, they won't divide evenly. This checkpoint is what prevents aneuploidy, which is having an abnormal number of chromosomes in the final cells. You definitely want to remember that.
Once that final check clears, things happen incredibly fast. We hit anaphase, the great pull-apart. Enzymes called separases instantly break the bonds holding those X-shaped sister chromatids together. The centromeres split. Suddenly, those single-stranded chromosomes are violently and rapidly dragged by shortening microtubules straight toward opposite poles of the cell. And while this rapid pulling is happening, the entire cell actually physically elongates, stretching out to prepare for the final cut.
Finally, the dust settles in telophase. You can basically think of this as the exact reverse of prophase. Two new nuclear envelopes begin to form around the two separated sets of chromosomes at opposite ends of the cell. The tightly wound chromosomes relax and uncoil back into fuzzy chromatin. But hey, a cell with two nuclei isn't the goal, right? So, running right alongside telophase is cytokinesis. In animal cells, a ring of actin microfilaments acts kind of like a molecular drawstring. It pinches the cell membrane inward, creating what we call a cleavage furrow, until the cytoplasm physically snaps and splits.
And boom, there is the triumphant result. Out of that one single parent cell, after clearing every checkpoint and perfectly executing PMAT, we're left with exactly two completely distinct, genetically identical daughter cells. In biological terms, they are 2N, or diploid, meaning they have a full exact pair of the original genetic blueprint.
Let's wrap this up with a quick conclusion and high-yield recap. If you take away literally anything from this explainer today, let it be these three core pillars. Interphase prepares the cell, checkpoints protect the genetic integrity, and PMAT executes the precise division. It really is an elegant, highly regulated masterpiece of biology. But you know, that leaves us with one final, incredibly important question. In this explainer, we've mastered exact cloning, making perfect identical copies. But if cells only ever made exact clones, humans would have zero genetic diversity. So how does the body mix things up to create unique traits? Well, that requires an entirely different type of cell division. And that is exactly what we're going to tackle in our upcoming Mitosis explainer. Stay curious, keep studying hard, and I will see you there.